Hello there, welcome to my channel, New Beginnings, my everyday life in rural Cyprus. And before we do anything else, let's say hello to my great moderator, Steve, from channel Steve and Tina Jewell. So yes, indeed, thank you for supporting my channel and being a great moderator. Steve has just released a video. Do go and see it. Steve put it in the links, and don't forget to put it under the live when it's posted up, because that's where everyone can find your links. And it's the bears. Was it the Hudson River again? I can't remember. But if you want to see bears in real life, as it were, they go and catch the fish, the salmon, under the bridge, and it's always amazing to see that. And you're not far away from them, are you, when you're filming? So if you want to see that, then do go over. If you can't find the link, then do just go and check out Steve and Tina Jewell's channel, Campbell River. Campbell River. And Steve does a lot of filming there. It's a beautiful area in British Columbia, Canada. Yes, it's beautiful there. Did you take your bear spray, Steve, that time? He was talking in another video about he bought some bear spray. Sounded quite expensive. As I said to him, just look what the ingredients are, make your own. No bear spray. Oh dear. I think bears are pretty safe as long as they've not just had their cubs. Would I be right in saying that's when you got to worry, when it's bear season? Steve says took Rover for protection. That's not the car, a Rover car. It's the dog. Rover for protection. He'd probably end up playing with them, I'm sure. Okay, so it's Wednesday. I've got lots of catch up for you today. Lots of interesting things been going on here. And let's start though with, as it's Wednesday, we do puzzle piece on Wednesday for sure, says Steve. So let's do today's puzzle piece. So it's a question today, a trivia question, and it's in the Mary Poppins book, the actual book by P.T. Travis. How many Banks children are there? So the family name is Banks. How many children are there in the Banks household in the book? So the film or the musical, we know there's 2. How many children are there in the actual book? That's an interesting question. And obviously people could just type in any number. So I'm not going to say who's right and who's wrong till later on in this video. So let me see. Okay, what else? Let's do usual catch-ups first, and then we'll do other catch-up. Steve says don't know that one. Doesn't know that one. You can have a guess. One guess. As I say, not loads of numbers. Okay, let's do normal Wednesday catch-ups before news. Steve's saying 1. That's a very good guess. Okay, so what I was reading, let me just get rid of that clip, or I will get in a pickle. I was reading this Waltzing the Cat. I'd almost finished it, I think, when I last told you about it. It's sort of little jumps through time of this young lady who doesn't pick the right partner and different people she's with and her travels. It wasn't that great in my opinion. We all like different things, of course. And I said, well, you never know, there might be a good ending. The ending was one of those where I guess you could interpret it in different ways. as to what the ending actually meant. I'm going to give it a 6. It wasn't like, oh, I've got to try and finish this book. It was okay. It's short little bits in it. So it's one of those, if you don't have much time to read, you have a spare 10 minutes while you're waiting to pick the children up from school or something like that. It's a book you could pick up and put down. So good in that respect, but I'm going to give it a 6. It wasn't terrible, but I wouldn't read it again. This one's going to be giveaway. So that's a giveaway one. What am I reading now? Well, I haven't started a new book because I'm trying to go back to reading Greek books again, Greek language books. But I did pick out the next book before I thought, no, I must do that. This one's called Angela's Ashes, a memoir of a childhood, and this is by Frank McCourt. Now, I recognise the title, Angela's Ashes. Is it an old film? I'm pretty sure. Mike said, yeah, I think I've heard that title before. Doesn't say anything about it on the back. It's just got reviews. Does it say anything inside about it? No. How does that make people buy it? Yeah, I did read a bit because it's about an Irish childhood. This is just what someone's saying about it. When I look back on my childhood, I wonder how I managed to survive at all. It was, of course, a miserable childhood. The happy childhood is hardly worth your while. Worse than the ordinary miserable childhood is the miserable Irish childhood, and worse yet is the miserable Irish Catholic childhood. So, I don't place it at the moment, but the title really rung a bell with me. As I say, I probably won't start reading that. I must read some Greek ones in between just to keep my language going. Yes, Steve says I've heard that before. It doesn't say anything about TV, but obviously the book was first. But it does say winner of the 1997 Pulitzer Prize, and doesn't say anything else. And it says it's Frank McCourt's first book. He's a retired New York school teacher. It rings a bell. I should just Google it. I've got a feeling it's a black and white film. I don't know. Maybe I should Google that later and have a look at that. So that's what I've been reading lately. Let's do another Wednesday catch up. Yes, you'll notice I don't remove myself from the screen now. I have to keep scrolling up and down to do that. So I've done more cross stitch. Done some more filling in down this bottom section and continually moving across the bottom. But that is the whole picture so far. It's getting very hard to show it on the screen, but that's the total height now. Any guesses? Very specific title to this. Very specific title. So you wouldn't say it's a woman. You would say it's the Mona Lisa. So examples. I could give you different examples. So it's something, somewhere, or someone very specific. There. How's that for clues for you? So I've been doing a bit of that yesterday. I've had to change where I do it. I've always done it on the dining table in the sun lounge because it's a lovely white table. But now we have Tizer, the kitten. She said, oh, it's time to play in here. And she tries to jump up on it. So I just can't do it. So now I put a big white towel. I've got a table in the kitchen. It's an old table. I use it for crafts. But because I use it for crafts, I'm a bit concerned there might be a bit of something on there. So I put a big white towel down on there where I want to do it. And I've been doing it in there. Okay, let's get rid of the craft one. And let's do some other catch-ups. Okay, so in case you're wondering what I'm drinking, Would you not say that looks like a fig? It's passion fruit. It's medium Swedish cider. And it is late here. Some of you might think, goodness, you're drinking that in the morning. It's 5:45 in the evening. I just sat out with Mike and was having it. Okay, so other catch-ups. I've written a few things on the board so I can remember things to tell you. I've been doing a lot of sorting today, yesterday, day before. I've done some videos on the sorting, but what I've done today, I haven't videoed it because today I'm just sorting out little pictures and clippings from magazines to make cards and bookmarks and things like that. So that won't make very interesting content, but that's what I've been doing today, making up some bookmarks, throwing some pictures away. Just trying to decrease it because we went to the dump yesterday, went to the dump and I salvaged some really cool things, a couple of really good things. And when we got there, on the way there, I said to Mike, one day we're going to come away with nothing, and that's never happened. And I said, I also say when I film what we get from here, I always say, I always get flower pots. And Mike said, yes, but you don't really need lots of flower pots now, just special ones if they're really big ones or, you know, really good size ones rather than standard ones because I've got so many now. So I said, oh, I'll probably come away with nothing then. Well, when we got there, they had like a digger machine, that type of contraption, and it was crushing down all the cardboard because there's different skips and they all have different things in them. So there's one for metal, paper, plastic, that kind of thing, but there's also items in some of them, and that was crushing down a lot of the skips. So you couldn't really go in that area unless you were to just throw something in, so you couldn't have a good looky around. And I said, oh, I'm not going to get anything. Well, a lot of them had been emptied as well. And I didn't even see any flower pots from the area I was in. And then I said to Mike, well, I want to go around. There's like a furniture area. If you've seen my videos of at the dump, you would have seen there's a big pile area of like furniture. And we've got some bed mats from there before and quite a few other things. And I said, I want to look there. It's always worth having a look. It's all just piled up randomly. So he's all right. And he had to go from the bottom and throw some stuff away because he couldn't get where the digger was up the top. And he came back with 2 really big pots. So I was pleased with those. And in this furniture area, I found 2 awesome items. And I can't tell you what they are because I'm going to show you the footage of it. I'm going to make it into a video probably next week or the week after. And you will see what I found. 2 things, neither I needed, but both are going to be very useful. So look out for that, my next salvage from the dump. I really enjoy going there. So that was that. Update on the cat. I have got a picture for you of the kitten. Let me see. There. So that is the kitten that went to the vet, and I think it was Nathan today commented on how well she's doing, and I said, yeah, literally you saw the picture of her great big scar she had, and I explained how now spaying cats, the new way is to go in like the side near their leg, which means they actually fall over a lot for a few hours after the operation because that's like quite weak and probably numbed. And she had her stitches. And I said, don't they need like the collar, I think? He said, no, don't worry about it. With cats, we don't like to put a collar on because they go out and about and they're more likely to get injured having a collar. So we don't bother. And then Kit, the big brown white boy cat, he cleans her a lot. And I said, well, one of the cats would clean her. And he said, don't worry about it. It's not a problem. It's just more security. It will bind back very quickly going in where they cut now. And that's also because they have better blood flow and blood supply there. So it will heal much quicker. And end of day 2 or morning of day 3, by the time we got to feed her in the morning, she had no stitches. So either she'd cleaned them out and bitten them out, or Kit cleaned them out. So that's Tizer the kitten, and she's running around, climbing trees. She's calmed down a bit, but she's still very kitten. So that's my little update of Kit. What else? Oh, last week I got stung by, I don't know if it was a hornet, because we have these, we call them biters, and they're these little black, tiny, like flies, but more buggy than flies, and they just land on you and sharp, like you've got an injection, and you just hit them off and whatever else. And they normally attack you when you're sweaty, so they obviously like the smell of sweat. So I'm always just hitting them, and I assumed it was one of those kept going for the back of my leg, like behind my knee, and I kept hitting and hitting, and then I hit it and I felt this almighty sting. Now, a few years ago, I showed you, I think in a video or on a community post, that I got stung by an oriental hornet, and I ended up at the hospital, and they kept me there because they draw around it and it was just spreading. And that was, I think that was on my thigh. Yes, I think that was on my thigh. And that was just spreading. They drew marks on it and it was going. They gave me an anti-venom shot and antihistamines, and they kept me there for some time until that took effect and it was starting to go down. And they said, then you're obviously allergic. I've never been allergic to bites or stings, but oriental hornet, maybe it's different from anything else. And they said, if you ever get bitten again, you've got to come straight into A&E, accident and emergency, or ER, emergency room. Well, I didn't know if this was, because these biter things normally come, but the pain of it going in was just like the sting of the oriental hornet. So I came straight indoors, didn't see it until later. I went back out and there was one floating around. So that's one thing, it was that. So I came in, took an antihistamine, and I just kept my eye on it. It did go out quite some, but not to an extent where I was like, I need to go. So I was all right. I kept taking antihistamines, and that seems to have worked. But I can still see like a big red, like where the sting had gone in. So we need... Two Doves, Bees and Gardens be on in a minute, because I'm talking about bee stings, but this is oriental hornet, and I have shown you pictures of those before. So they're obviously a bit more lethal. I've done a video. We went to Linos Winery, so you'll see a little tour of that and the unique wine that they make there. One of the only type in Cyprus, or the only type of this type of wine in Cyprus. So there's some footage there, plus an old bus that they have there on the site. Other video things is Sammy, who came to Cyprus from South Africa, and she filmed tour of my property. She did it in 2 parts on her channel, which is Small Urban Greens Homestead. I have just put up the first part. She has, I was talking the other week about saying she wanted to do a collaboration with me, and she has sent me questions, Q&A questions. And I didn't want to edit down her asking questions. She sent me it via video. I didn't want to edit that down, and I wanted to give really good answers. So I've edited it into, I've only made part 1 and haven't edited part 2, but I've got all the footage to put together now of my answers. But it's going to be 3 parts. And the first part is talk about off-grid and homesteading. So that is, I think that was posted today. Yes, Wednesday. It's posted today. So do go and have a look at that. You'll see Sammy asking the questions from her home and me answering them from my home. So as I say, there'll be 2 more parts of that, but I'm going to put a few other videos in between each thing, because people who just watch me for, say, Cyprus lifestyle or whatever else, there's other things for them to watch as well. So that's part 1. Do go and check that out. Let's see if I can. I don't think I've got my URLs up. I've got pictures of my cat. Let me get my docs up. Where are we? Where are we? Back one. No, I'm just bringing up my cat at the moment. Where's my, oh, there it is, Word Docs. Word Docs, posted video URLs, and make it big so I can see the screen. New beginnings. Oh, I got a payout as well yesterday from YouTube. I do tell you, I will tell you every time I get a payout. I got 70 euros. Yoo-hoo! The last time I got a payout, I think it said was December. It was December. Yes, December. There we go. There's the URL for the Q&A. Steve says, yes, I've heard that before. Nice. Nice, yes. Sammy's adorable. Do go and check out Small Greens Urban Homestead. That's it, Small Greens Urban Homestead. What else? Oh, the other big news is, I think I talked very briefly about it last time I spoke with you, saying that we do Workaway for volunteers. But I found out about World Packers is another platform. Again, it's worldwide, so anyone in the world can use it. And I'm definitely going to do, let me write it down to do, Workaway versus World Packers. I'm going to do a video on it once I've got a little bit further into it. Our profile is now up. There must be a link somehow, but if you go on World Packers, I think it's worldpackers.com, but I just typed in World Packers, go put in World Packers Cyprus, and then you'll see my profile on there. It's different to my profile on Workaway, so just put World Packers Cyprus, and that's how I found my page, if you like, and you'll see more pictures of my land there. Every time I put pictures up, they said, put up some more pictures. There's now 41 pictures. The one difference was you have to show the room or bed, whatever, where they're sleeping, whereas Workaway kind of don't really like you to do that because they don't want people coming to volunteer because of the accommodation rather than the experience of volunteering. But it's good in some ways because we've heard some places give you literally old camp bed in a shed. So I get it. There's swings and roundabouts by a lot of the things on there. I did have an issue with they put your Google picture from the sky when people ask to come. They send them the picture of Google from the sky with the Google references. Now, one problem is if you go straight here following Google's directions, you go down a ravine. So we send them directions which they must follow in the right order, or if they go Google way, they've gone down deep ravine. What was the other thing? Oh, and because they'd use this Google Maps, they actually named our village another village, about an hour's drive away from us. That's what Google puts it at. It's another village name. So I did say I want that changed, and there's quite a few discussions backwards and forwards that it didn't matter. The people aren't going to see that. And I was like, well, it's wrong. I'm still of that generation where I want things to be correct, not, oh, it doesn't matter. So there was a few bits, but they've been very helpful. He's now changed it. Then I got, this is day 2 officially. It's really day 1 of it being up properly. because I was still sorting out this problem of putting our proper village name up. So technically it's day 1, but you could argue and say this is day 2 of our profile, because it was up but it wasn't completed. And we have had 3 requests already today to come. So that looks good, although they do say when you're new, you get pushed out there for the first month. One person, I don't know how it happened, but they say they smoke, and I've put twice in my profile in different places, we cannot accept smokers. So that was a no profile, and they say you do need to make sure you pick someone because you need reviews from them. So don't just cancel them all out. So I thought, well, if they're all going to be like this, I've got an issue. So that one was a no. The second one was a lady, age 31, from Bulgaria. And her profile was like literally 3 lines, didn't say anything much. All it says is she is interested in filming. That tells me probably an Instagrammer. This is her help here, what she will help with. Filming, no thanks. Relaxing and something else like just like bringing in nature and relaxing in nature and well-being. So that was a no. Oh, and she also put, I can't remember the exact dates, but it was something like November to February. Well, we're closed that time of year anyway, the end of November, December, January, February, we're closed. So it did say that on our dates. And also, I've talked to you before about on Workaway, you often got people wanting to go over Christmas. Now, these are 2 types of people. One, they are permanent, like packers, if you like, backpackers or nomads, that kind of thing. They don't own properties. They just go from place to place, and they're looking for accommodation over Christmas. Do they think you're going to say Christmas Day? Oh, no, don't work all over Christmas. Or are they coming for a free Christmas meal? I don't know. The other one is just people want a Christmas holiday, and the same thing applies. They think they can come and share your Christmas. I don't know. So I just put, well, we're not available on those dates, as it says. So that was a no. So I thought, oh, no, I need to accept the third one. But the third one's good. He supposedly, he's asked for October the 3rd to October the 24th, which suits us perfectly. He sounds like he wants to learn and works hard. He had a good profile. Lots of things interested me from his profile. Now, something I do like on Worldpackers versus Workaway, they can just say they're coming and then they don't come. Worldpackers, it seems, if I want them to come, I clicked pre-approve, and that says I'm right. I've said, yes, you can come. Then that's as far as I've got with it. But I believe now what happens is he has to click confirm or confirmed, and that means he's definitely coming. Now, that's what I always said Workaway should have done. They should have had this, both sides say, yes, come, definitely coming from them. So that's what was the weakness of Workaway. Although I did talk the other day about Worldpackers said as long as they cancel 7 days before they actually arrive. Well, he can't do that now. Oh, yes, he's got 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got 8 days. So, but he hasn't pressed confirm yet, so it doesn't matter. But once he hits confirm, he's got 8 days before he has to cancel. If it's 7 or less, then I think he gets a mark or something against him. So there is that. But then, to be fair, if something sudden happens, it can happen in those 7 days. So it's more likely you'd cancel literally in those last 7 days. So we'll see where it goes. It looks good at the moment. Let me just take my cat off the screen. So yes, it looks good. It took a little while. There's a bit you do pre-approve, and then it says send a message like to the person. So I typed in yes, blah 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 blah. Oh no, this was the decline one first, the smoking one. So I hit decline and it wouldn't let me decline, and then it said no, I lied. Let me start again. It was the smoker. I wanted to decline. Mike said, just hit the decline. I said, no, I want to tell him why, the reason, because I'd want to know. So I tried to type a message in to say I've declined because our profile clearly states no smoking. So I put that in. Then I hit decline and nothing happens. And I have to decline within 3 days of them asking to come. And I couldn't hit decline. I was like, oh my goodness, what am I doing now? So it come up, you haven't typed a message in. So I put message in again and sent it and then tried to hit decline. Anyway, it turns out, I think, I went back into it later, hit decline first. So it's like you do that first. Then it says you need to write a message. Well, I'd already done it. So I just put, good luck in your volunteering, press that and it was fine. But there's nothing to tell you that. And because the message bit came up first, I thought put message in first and then decline. But no, you have to decline or approve first, then do the message. But it's the other way round on the platform. And I told you about watched all these videos I had to watch and you get a little certificate or whatever. But there was nothing I needed to know. This is like a basic thing. And I've had experience with a lot of platforms. Some people might not. And it was still a bit confusing. I guess if you set the platform up, you know what's obvious and what's not. But it needs a tester. It needs a tester. And the other thing was when it says reason you're declining, you can't put a reason. There's, I'm going to say, about 12 different things and you have to click on the thing. There wasn't anything about you're not doing what it says you must do to come. There was just other. So I pressed that and then I thought it might say, what is the reason? No, just other. The lady who wanted to come over Christmas, there was a thing that said our dates don't tie up. So that was fine there. I've found now how to get in the calendar. I was in the calendar when I was setting up, but I couldn't go too far ahead with that. So it was just initially setting up dates. But now I've got into the calendar. That took me ages to see. You can blank available, not available, or getting quick if you want this date because it's highly sought after dates. Well, that's most of my dates, basically. So I clicked on every single one and I thought there must be a way you can drag it, or if you're doing like a whole month, and I couldn't find it out. And I was like, it's got to be simple. As I say, if you make these platforms, you think, right, do that and that, but it didn't make sense. Found out in the end, press the first one and press the last one of the bit you want to change, and it changes all that colour. So it was a lot of playing around today with that. Now I'm in the system. I get it. There was one other little issue with it, that you put all your information in and then they play around with your information and they put their little quirky sayings in and whatever. So it's not 100% what you've written. A lot of it is, but they play around with it and then put funky little things in. So we don't offer meals at all. And I like that. The way you do meals, it's got 3 icons: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and you click on any you do want to provide. So I just put that you have your own cooking facilities, your own private area to cook, blah, blah, blah. You have all your utensils and plates and everything. So I was happy with that. As I told you, there's another platform that said it didn't matter, you don't need to feed them, but then it says you do feed them. So I had issues before with another platform. I've looked at all of them now. So I was like happy with that. But then down the bottom at the end of the profile, where if you go on and look on it, it says something funky like, oh, share your stories and meals together, share our meals. So I let the guy know, who's like my person on there that sorts out any issues. And I said, I'm a little bit concerned because it says share our meals. And I said, yeah, sometimes maybe we say come up for a barbecue or whatever, but it says don't offer something that you're not offering every single day. So if you want to say barbecue now and then, you can't put that. It's got to be you offer it to everyone every time. So you can't offer it to some volunteers if you've put about it and then another time say, oh no, we're too busy or we're out on our own today or something like that. So I didn't put anything about that. And then this funky bit at the bottom says share our meals. So I said to him, I'm concerned about that because to me, if some people don't read everything, they see that bit and then they'll be disappointed. So I said, no, you've clearly said it further up, which they put about you don't provide anything. So he said, that's not a worry. And I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm of that age where if you say something, it should be correct. But hey, serves them right. They don't read everything. So, yeah, I've been doing that, dealing with that today. And I did put in the title today, tell me your news. So tell me your news, and while you're typing that in or putting it in the comments if you're watching this later, because I do love to read all your news. There's quite a few of you that contact me, particularly if you don't have a channel, and you tell me what's going on, and I love that. I really do love that. So while you're doing that, let me do this. So the question of today was, in the book of Mary Poppins by P.T. Travis, how many children in the Banks family are there? Now, in the film, there's 2. What do you say, Mike? Mike says 3. Steve says 1. Nobody is correct yet. Nobody is correct. Ooh, wouldn't it be funny to say no children? That would be what? Mike's laughing. He's in the garden. Yeah, he's out in the window there. Oh dear. So yeah, no children. Because in England, when we say nanny, that means grandmother. That means grandmother and nanny. So she might not have had any children to look after. Steve says 4. Steve says 4. Mike says no. How many do you say now then, Mike? 2. 2 is not correct. Steve says it puts Mary out of work with no kids. That's very good. Mike says, well done, Steve. Oh dear. I'm just trying to find something. Right. This is trouble with hacking. I can't talk and hack at the same time. Right, let me see. Right, Steve says 4. It is correct. There are the 2 older children that there are in the story of Mary Poppins, the film, but there are also twin babies. Yes, so Steve was correct. Well done, Steve. Well done. Very good. So, yes, there are 4 children, 2 from the story, I guess, and there were 2 twins. I can't remember their names now. But it was a boy and girl twin. So, obviously, it was just for ease for the film to do that. It's like Sound of Music. There was a totally different amount of children in the Sound of Music than there was in the film musical. Good guess from me, says Steve. Yeah. Certainly a good guess from you. Yes, definitely. Okay, that's all my catch up. As I say, if you're watching this back later, do tell me your news. I really enjoy reading your news. Steve, don't forget to put your bear video link under this when I've clicked off, and you can put something under it, because that is an awesome video. It's something really spectacular to see. So put that in the link. So check that out, guys. Check out his whole channel while you're there. And if you haven't subscribed to him, why not? But yeah, definitely watch this bear one. That's worth watching. And go and check out Small Urban Greens Homestead. Small Urban Greens Homestead as well. And my latest video where Sammy from that channel asked me some more questions. So I'm going to finish there for today. Thanks, Steve, for being here. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you all again soon. Meraki.